All right, so I think last time we were in, yeah, Alright, look. So last time we took a peek into Genesis 1 in the creation account. It was some beautiful shiznit. The generic god known as Elohim was poetically creating dope shit out of love, and everything was good. But now we get into Genesis 2 and we see some new deity called YHWH, basically recreating everything. And he does it out of order, as though he has no concern for Elohim's hard work or anything. Dude, YHWH, I'm not sure who the hell you think you are, but Elohim already had that on lock. Why you gotta come recreating everything and confusing the hell out of people? Hey, look, man, that's on y'all. I made everything at one time. Y'all are the ones that wanted to have your own creation accounts to fit your own times and cultures. See, look at your little book there. You have two different writers, writing two different accounts, living in two different cultures. But it all got combined into one book. Wait, what? Yeah, it's true. Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are more than likely two totally different creation accounts written by two different authors living in two different cultures and probably two different centuries. It all just got spun together in one for the sake of the good book. When you look at the accounts, you see things like the writer referred to God in two totally different ways. You see things being created in a brand new order. You see things being mentioned in one account, but not the other. This is all because it's a new creation story for a new time. Remember, these early books were initially passed down through oral tradition. Now, sometimes traditions overlap, and sometimes they might change a little bit, and sometimes you have a totally new story because it's for a totally different culture. Contemporary conservative Christianity has done this thing where they try to make Genesis 1 and 2 fit nicely together for the sake of a cohesive narrative. Now, the reason this has happened is because it's hard to claim that Genesis was written by only Moses through some divine trance if they acknowledge that it may have actually been written by a few different people. People who may have only been compelled to write about God solely because of a desire to see that God fit into their culture. Basically, conservative Christianity does not want to acknowledge that God may be bigger than what they thought, because then control would be lost. But I'm not afraid of it, because it doesn't change the way people are supposed to love one another. And that, as I always say, is the whole point of the Bible. Love. Alright, let's dive in. So we start with Genesis chapter 2, verse 4. Now, this is the beginning of a totally new creation narrative, and the big man in charge is now called YHWH. Got a new nickname and everything. So let's check out how this creation story unfolds. These are the records of the heavens and the earth concerning their creation. At the time that the Lord God, that's Yahweh, made the earth and the heavens, no shrub of the field had yet grown on the land, and no plant of the field had yet sprouted, for the Lord God had not made it rain on the land. But mist used to come up from the earth and water all the ground. Then the Lord God formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and the man became a living being. So in this account, the Lord God creates man before he creates anything else. Again, different from chapter 1, but similar in that humanity is favored. In Genesis chapter 1, we see that humans are made in the image of God. In Genesis chapter 2, we see that God creates humans before he creates any other plants or animals. There was also some special shit going on when Yahweh makes humans. First off, we see that man, and specifically the male, was created from dust. Now, remember, boys and girls, dust is brown, sand is white, soil is black. Yahweh creates humans from dust. The writer of Genesis 2 probably lives in a culture of brown people. So none of this milky white Chad and Eve, and none of this Black Panther Adam and Evisha. No, the writer of Genesis 2 is a bronze dude writing about a bronze Adam and Eve. The other cool thing going on is that Yahweh breathes the breath of life into just humans. Like, plants and animals are created and just kind of set in motion. Now, obviously, the more we understand about creation, the more we see just how alive and vibrant everything is. Dolphins are smart as shit. Trees can talk to each other. Don't forget that Genesis 2 is just some dude writing about spirituality, not science. He has no idea of the fossil record. He doesn't understand that the earth revolves around the sun. That's all knowledge that comes later in time. So we shouldn't view Genesis chapter 2 as humanity being able to do whatever the f we want to the earth, and eventually God's gonna come along and clean up our mess. Now that's terrible. All right, let's move. The Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he placed the man he had formed. The Lord God caused to grow out of the ground every tree pleasing in appearance and good for food, including the tree of life in the middle of the garden, as well as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So here's the setup. Yahweh takes man and puts him in a garden called Eden. Then he causes the plants to grow. Again, different order from chapter 1, but different story. Important if that's your focus. That's not my focus right now. My focus is on the type of trees being set up. I mean, check it out. Yahweh's all like, bruh, you need some food? I got you. You want some nice nature to look at? Say no more, fam. Now don't you speed past the love being shown here. Yahweh creates nature that is actually pleasing to look at. Now, think about the cool flowers that grow around you. In Texas, we have bluebonnets. In California, there's the California poppy. In Pennsylvania, they have the mountain laurel. Think about the tall redwood trees of the Pacific Northwest. How about those cool dragon blood trees that grow in Africa? The Japanese maple tree? Mwah, that thing is gorgeous. Now, imagine if you had to walk past the same damn shrub every day. Everywhere you went, no diversity in nature. Boring! So, thanks for the nice looking plants, Yahweh. Now, more love is shown in that the trees produce fruit that's actually pleasing to eat. There's a question for you. How many of you like coconuts? Figs? Avocados? Pears? Peaches? Apples? Look, I know you like something that grows on a tree.
I like it.
I like trees, man. Shut up. The setup is nice. There's good food and beautiful nature. But there is one little detail to consider. In the middle of all this that's going on, Yahweh puts the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, why Yahweh puts these two trees here is a mystery for right now. But in just a second, we're gonna see that f***ing with these two trees is the difference between life and death. Dun dun dun! Now you know the writer of this chapter was gonna have to deal with people being like, where is this garden? How do we get there? Can we see it? So you know he's like, crap, I don't know where this is. So he's gotta write some things to kind of throw him off the scent trail. I love verses 10 through 14 because he's like, let me give him some hints and get the hell out of here. There is this river in the garden, and then it turns into 4 other rivers. Yeah, and if you follow one of the rivers, it will lead you to gold. Yeah, mention gold, so then they'll stop bugging me. And then there's some other rivers somewhere around there, I guess. Dude gives his readers like approximate coordinates of this garden, which if you do a little research, you'll see it's in Mesopotamia, basically the Middle East. Again, this is Browntown. Like the Renaissance painters really fluffed up in their depictions of Adam and Eve. Get your life together, Masaccio. Here's where it starts to get a little hairy. Verses 15 and 16 are like the greatest setup ever. Yahweh takes the man and puts him in the garden. Basically, he makes him the groundskeeper, and then he's all like, look, bruh, you can eat from any tree you want. You see that one there? Those are called pears. Ooh, apples. Oh, you ever tried those? Oh, they're so sweet, they're good. Oh, apricots. You'll like those. You can eat from any tree you want, except for that one right there in the middle of the garden. Now that tree has a special name. It's called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And if you eat from that tree,
I like it.
your ass is dead. Anywho, I bet you're lonely here. Let's get you some friends. What? Bro, you put me here. You tell me I gotta take care of all your shit, then you say I can eat anything I want, except for that one tree that you put in the middle of every damn thing, and you tell me that if I eat from that tree, then I'm gonna die? And then all of a sudden you change the subject to me getting a crew? Like, where even am I right now? But Yahweh don't care. Yahweh just starts making birds and animals from the ground, not the dust, and shoving them in Adam's face like, yo, my dude, what do you want to call this thing? And whatever Adam calls an animal, that's its name. I really wish Adam would have called narwhals husky water pokey boys. It's a missed opportunity on your part, my dude. Side note, this is another one of those times where chapters 1 and 2 are a little bit off. The writer of chapter 1 mentions fish a few times and in a manner that makes them seem important. The writer of chapter 2 doesn't even mention fish at all. Again, two different writers, two different times, two different creation stories. So now, look at how things play out. The man gave names to all the livestock, to the birds of the sky, and to every wild animal. But for the man, no helper was found corresponding to him. So, the Lord God caused a deep sleep to come over the man, and he slept. God took one of his ribs and closed the flesh at that place. Then, the Lord God made the rib he had taken from the man into a woman and brought her to the man. And the man said, "This one at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman because she was taken from a man." I love this. Adam has to come up with names for all the animals, but none of them are like him. I mean, you know he's probably tried to talk to the turtles, but they're not hearing any of his jokes. And he probably tried to stick his horn inside Miss Rhinoceros, and she turned around and stuck her horn in his ass. None of the animals are working for Adam. But Yahweh's cool. Takes Adam, puts him to sleep, steals a rib out of his side, and turns that into another human. Brings it over to Adam. Adam, being perpetual employee of the month, knows what he's supposed to do. As soon as he sees this creature, he goes, "Whoa, man!" I mean, Adam is legit. Dude literally freestyles a poem off the top of his head while he names Eve. This dude is a true slayer. I also like how the Bible throws in that last little part, verse 25. You know, when they're both naked and unashamed. Let's go! Alright, takeaways. Again, no need to get hung up on the author, but crucial to see the shift in style. This is theology, and theology is just one's understanding of God. So, Genesis 1, generic God creating everything. Genesis 2, Hebrew God creating everything. A different theology of creation for different time periods. Yes, it does vary a little bit. No, it doesn't change the fact that we are to love one another. Another thing I grasp from this chapter is that man was made from dust. That whole color of dust race thing aside, man literally came from the dust. Meaning, basically, we ain't shit. Males have these huge egos, right? Oh, I'm the king of the world. You can't tell me shit. Dude, no, you're not. You're worm food. We may have had God directly breathe the breath of life into us. However, we're nothing more than fancy dirt. Men, take it down a notch. Be humble. Learn how to love one another more. Now, the woman, on the other hand, the woman came directly from the man. You know what that means? Patriarchy. When dudes try to lord their sex over women, it's a clear sign of their self-hatred. Women came directly out of men, that figuratively speaking. The idea is that we are one and the same. We are equal. Women have just as much of a voice as men. Women are just as capable as men are. Women are f***ing awesome, just like men. When you're emotionally abusive to a woman, you're being emotionally abusive to yourself. When you hit a woman, you're hitting yourself, figuratively speaking. Your treatment of women is a direct reflection of your understanding of how this whole system works. We are equals. Treat each other as such. Lastly, don't forget the original purpose of this chapter. The whole purpose is a storyteller basically just trying to explain how we all got here. When you harp on that whole Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, you miss the whole point. It's all about Yahweh. Yahweh made humans unlike any other animal on the earth. Yahweh provides beautiful things for humans to view and eat. Yahweh gave man a job. Yahweh created a companion for man when he was lonely. Yahweh is a decent guy. He loves you, and you should be thankful for that. And that's all I got for chapter 2. Again, this chapter is a glorious setup for the spectacular show that's about to erupt. You won't want to miss next episode because the humans are about to eat from that forbidden tree and themselves. But it's all good because Yahweh shows up with some love. Love, love, love. The world needs more of it. So let's break some
I
off.
like it.
Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's love. Remember, love your God, yourself, and your fellow creation. My name's Bernard, and thanks for watching.